Tonight on NewsVision, welcome to our house. The University of Miami welcomes back a familiar face at the Lakeside Expo Center, but this time he wasn't performing on stage.
I love the U. I have family members that graduated from here. You know, as a kid, I used to go to the games and things like that.
Plus, murders in Mexico, the latest on how a trip south of the border turned deadly for 2 Americans. And later on, it's March, which means fans across the country are ready to unleash the madness. But one group on campus made every game this year feel like it was played in March.
You know, even if you don't love basketball, you're gonna have fun when you're at this game.
Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Sophia Vitello.
And I'm Cal Friedman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
University of Miami students are getting ready for spring break along with tens of thousands of other students in the United States.
That's right, Thea. And one of the most popular destinations for spring break is right here in Miami Beach.
And our reporters Charly Hill and Derryl Barnes join us live now from Ocean Drive in South Beach.
Charly, Derryl, you spotted any spring breakers already taking over South Florida?
Yeah, Cal, the spring breakers have already started taking over South Florida, but not just here where we are on Miami Beach, also up in Fort Lauderdale where they've enforced an 11 p.m. curfew. Now, we haven't heard of any of that from Miami Beach officials, but
what we have seen, I know you saw that police running around on the ATV around this road. We have special police forces out in full force out here, trying to get ready on the forefront of any potential rowdy spring breaker crowds with programming starting here in Miami Beach tomorrow. Last year, between February and March, over 600 people were arrested here in Miami Beach, in South Beach, actually. So they're trying to get out on the forefront of this as crowds start getting bigger.
And because of the larger expected crowds that are going to be at the start of next week, officials have warned visitors to expect lane closures, heavier traffic, and law enforcement crackdowns.
Yeah, and things are only going to pick up over these next 2 weeks. We got Ultra coming back, Miami Music Festival, all at full capacity for the first time since COVID.
Now the beaches are closed, so people are making their way over to Ocean Drive for the nightlife. But for now, reporting live for UMTV, I'm Charly Hill.
And I'm Derryl Barnes. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Derryl and Charly. And Safe Spring Break is one of the signature events of the Healthy K Network, which is comprised of organizations and departments across campus that support student well-being. The Safe Spring event took place yesterday at The Rock on campus. It aims to provide students with information and tools they need to have an enjoyable spring break, whether that relates to alcohol and drug consumption, sun safety, sexual health, and more.
At the Sandler Center booth, I learned about medical amnesty and how if you get medical help called for you, if you ever need it in an emergency, if you are drinking too much when you're out, it doesn't go on your record, and it's just something to keep you safe even when you're not in Miami for students, so I think that's pretty cool.
Students who attended walked away with valuable information and also with some free Kona ice and a raffle ticket for an inflatable paddleboard.
The Sandler Center is also one of the organizations that host a Narcan training for UM students right here on campus. Narcan is a potentially life-saving spray meant to treat a narcotic overdose. Assistant Dean of Students and the Director of the Sandler Center, Rachel Purse, helps organize these trainings for UM students on a regular basis.
During training tonight, we talked about the Good Samaritan Act and the medical amnesty policy and how to use Narcan. And I just want students to feel comfortable in how to use it and to know that, that they should be using it and in what situations, and to not be afraid to do so.
Each student who attends the training receives multiple boxes of Narcan, leaving better prepared in case of an emergency.
Also on campus this week, students were treated to an up-close and personal meeting with an international celebrity. I got the chance to interview the big star, but he was not wearing apple-bottom jeans. Students at the University of Miami said, "Welcome to my house" to rapper Flo Rida on Monday afternoon. The international pop star made a stop at the U for a conversation about success and mental health. The event took place at the Lakeside Expo and was hosted by the College of Arts and Sciences. Flo Rida was born and raised in Miami, so helping the 305 is on his bucket list.
I love the U. I have family members that graduated from here. You know, as a kid, I used to go to the games and things like that, so I thought it's my duty to come back and share the success in the sense of the different hurdles and things that I went through in life to get to this point.
Florida's 11th Circuit Court Judge Ellen Venzer was also in attendance. She guided questions while the rapper told his story. Nearly 100 students and faculty filled the crowd, and some say his words left a mark on their hearts.
I was really grateful for Flo Rida to come today and talk about mental health, making sure that you take care of yourself, and how if you have faith, you can really achieve anything that you want.
For over an hour, the artist spoke and gave students the opportunity to ask him for advice. Flo Rida encouraged everyone to look past their circumstances. He attributes his success to his support system, his perseverance, and his faith.
All of us have our ups and our downs, but it's about having vision, not looking to the right or to the left, and just focusing on the goal.
Some students left with more than a picture with the icon, but the knowledge that they are not alone and a motivation to succeed.
I really think that through faith, you can do anything and accomplish all your goals in your life. What he said was really inspirational overall.
And speaking of celebrities, one street in Miami-Dade County is now named after Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. The new name was unveiled on Monday in the town of Cutler Bay. Justice Jackson was raised right here in Miami. She graduated from a local high school and attended several debate tournaments that helped her grow her confidence and solidify her passion for justice.
And I am so proud that I grew up here in this South Florida community, which, thanks to all of you, now has a prominent street that bears my name.
Brown Jackson says she hopes this new street name will serve as a testament to what is possible here in this country.
This week, UM fraternity Beta Theta Pi has partnered with the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation for its annual Philanthropy Week. The foundation supports those living with the impact of a brain or spinal cord tumor diagnosis and its treatment. It ensures young patients and families have a strong community to support them throughout their journey. The fraternity raised money through its Pi a Beta event, Dunk Tank, Coin Wars, and by selling merchandise.
So we're raising money for the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation, and this is our philanthropy week for our fraternity. And we have an end goal of $20,000, but obviously we'd like to pass that and get even higher.
Tomorrow they will be selling tickets to a 50-50 raffle from noon till 5 p.m. in the Breezeway.
It's time for a short break, but when NewsVision returns, we will tell you what Florida Governor Ron DeSantis discussed during his State of the State address, including his plans for the Sunshine State. Don't go away.
A domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
February 24th marked the one-year anniversary of Russia sending troops to invade Ukraine. And since the start of the war, over 100,000 Ukrainians have found refuge in the United States, many of them here in South Florida. Anna Coon spoke to some Ukrainians in the area. Anna, what did they say?
Thousands of Ukrainians have fled to South Florida since Russia invaded, and the community has stepped up to welcome them. I went to Hallandale Beach, where they commemorated the anniversary of the Russian invasion and spoke to some refugees on how they've been adjusting to life in a new country. Sergei Chumanchenko was forced to flee his home in Luhansk, Ukraine, when Russian troops first invaded in 2014. He picked up his life and moved to a town outside the capital, Kyiv.
I loved my country and my community.
I was building a future for myself, but in 2 separate cities, I had to restart my life.
9 years later, history repeated itself. Sergei was surrounded by Russian troops again when Russia invaded Ukraine last year. This time, he had to leave the country.
The bombing continued, and the power went off, leaving us with no heat, no water, and no light. I felt like I was almost homeless.
2 months ago, Sergei found his way to an old friend living in the United States. With the help of an organization called Jewish Community Services of South Florida, he's adjusting to life in America, along with many others.
They came here maybe thinking it's going to be a few months, maybe I'm going to be able to survive with my savings. And unfortunately, that's not what we are having these days.
The community center has helped more than 200 Ukrainians, providing help with rent, job searches, legal and medical issues, and finding a community in a new country.
It's been 365 days of war in Ukraine, but the spirit of these Ukrainian people have not wavered. You can see here behind me, they are lining the streets as cars drive by and honk in their support of the Ukrainian people on this anniversary here in Hallandale Beach.
When war just started, they were like hiding in basements and they were like running away from bombs. And it was very hard to get out from Ukraine, but thanks God, most of my family, they were able to leave.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, more than 8,300 Ukrainians have arrived in the state of Florida, all looking for a safe haven from the war. Hundreds of them gathered on its first anniversary, February 24th, to mourn the tens of thousands of Ukrainians lost and to recognize the strength of their homeland.
And I haven't had like any day that I wouldn't think about Ukraine, but I can say that I'm so proud of Ukraine and I'm so proud of my people, how strong they are and how they protect our country. I believe that Ukraine will win.
Every person I spoke with gave their thanks for the support that they've received. They also said that they have high hopes that countries across the globe will continue to support the Ukrainian military so that the next time they gather here, it will be a celebration of Ukrainian freedom. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Anna Coon.
Such an inspirational story. Anna, thank you. Governor Ron DeSantis was greeted by loud cheering as he spoke to Florida's Republican supermajority in his annual State of the State address on Tuesday. DeSantis celebrated his educational reforms, including the bans of teaching of critical race theory and discussions about sexual identity in elementary classrooms. This comes as state lawmakers are looking to expand parental rights in schools. DeSantis also spoke about Florida's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. His administration banned mask mandates and vaccine requirements in the state, and DeSantis praised these measures. And looking toward the future, DeSantis said Florida will continue to fight on the front lines of what he refers to the country's culture war.
We will stand strong, we will hold the line, we won't back down, and I can promise you this, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you all.
Despite his strong plans here in Florida, many believe DeSantis has even bigger dreams. The governor just completed a national book tour, and next he's headed to primary early states. This coming amid high speculation that he will announce his presidential bid after Florida's legislative session closes.
2 Americans are dead and 2 are recovering after being kidnapped in Mexico. The 4 friends are believed to have been in Mexico for a cosmetic surgery when they were taken hostage. The FBI says gunmen fired at the Americans and then loaded them into a white pickup. A U.S. official believes a Mexican cartel mistook the Americans for Haitian drug smugglers. A Mexican state official says the 4 were found in a wooden house in or near the Mexican border city of Matamoros. The bodies of the victims have been transported back to the U.S. along with the survivors. Attorney General Merrick Garland says multiple agencies are working on this case.
According to some estimates, 1 in 5 people in the United States suffer from some form of mental illness, yet mental health is often a tough and uneasy conversation to have. But that was not the case on March 4th when the Florida Suicide Awareness Conference hosted a candid talk about suicide with messages of hope at UM's Alumni Center. It was sponsored by the National Alliance of Mental Illness in Miami-Dade, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to discussing and bettering the mental illness issues. The event was the first of its kind for the organization and featured several guest speakers, some of whom are suicide survivors themselves.
23 years of turning to anyone in front of you. If I was suicidal today, I would turn to all of you and I would say, I need help now. That's my shorthand. And if I said, I need help now, what would you do?
NAMI Miami's next big project is the Walk for Mental Health Awareness on May 20th. And organizers say even more events are on the horizon.
Spring break is just hours away. I'm so excited. I'm actually going to Mexico.
Oh,
Cal.
really? I'm staying in the States. I'm going to the Panhandle, and I'm really hoping that any bad weather has no surprises for us.
Okay, well, we have our weathercaster, Quinn Davidson, here in the Weather Center. Please, Quinn, tell us if he's going to have a good spring break. And Quinn, where are you going for spring break?
I will be going back to Punta Cana. I went last year and I had an blast, so I just had to go for a second year in a row. And for those who are taking an early start to spring break, Miami International Airport has no delays at the moment. It is a bit breezy outside. Temperatures are in the mid-70s and there are clear conditions expected, but this is not the case across some areas of the country. We see San Francisco has lots of delays and some in New York and LaGuardia, but those look to improve. But for San Francisco, what is going on there? There is a phenomenon called an atmospheric river that is occurring in the West Coast in California. Essentially, a plume of moisture is being funneled directly into the state, which is causing for excessive rainfall and lots of snow in those mountain regions. The National Weather Service and Weather Prediction Center has issued the highest risk on their scale for excessive flooding for areas such as Monterey and Big Sur and even the Sierra Nevada mountains. So definitely a very serious and dire situation for those in these areas. Something to keep an eye out for if you know anyone who lives in those areas, for sure. For us here closer to home, we have a low pressure system situated over the Great Lakes region and a cold front stringing down. This is going to move through our region this weekend, allowing for an increased chance of showers on Saturday, but this does not seem anything too concerning. And looking at our beach forecast, there is a rip current statement still in effect and for tomorrow night. So rip current risk is high throughout the day. Water temperature in the upper 70s, and temperature sitting at 80 with a UV of 7. So definitely a good reason to go out and tan. And just a reminder, springing forward this weekend, daylight savings is happening and we have to move our clocks an extra hour ahead Saturday into Sunday, so we will be losing an hour of sleep. But luckily for us, 7:34 a.m. for our new sunrise and 7:28 p.m. for our new sunset. For a 70 forecast, temperatures in the upper 80s, cooling down to 70 by next week.
Quinn, those 70s look good, thank you. And the weather was perfect this week on campus for an event that aims to ease student stress through midterms. Charly Hill has more.
Midterm week for many UM students is filled with stress, anxiety, and long hours at the Richter Library. But the Student Government's Outreach Program is trying to relieve some of that stress by encouraging students to get active and get outside. On Monday, students got a chance to take a break with the view. Participants in the Sunset Yoga event on the lakeside lawn tried various poses and positions that seemed easy but were actually very challenging. And at the end of the session, completely worth it.
And honestly, I just think any exercise is beneficial for college students just to get anxieties out, but yoga tends to be great because it works you out, but then you get to calm down at the end and like meditate.
And it wasn't just some exercise and calm that students scored. For all the hard work they put in, they got to go home with their own yoga mat, which they can use for their next yoga session. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Charly Hill.
Still ahead tonight, Miami men's basketball is in North Carolina this week for its conference tournament. Plus, a look at how the team behind the team on the court contributes. We'll bring you the highlights from the game after the break.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, baby? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, backpack kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Hello and welcome to sports. I'm Wyatt Kopelman. Miami men's basketball won its game in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament today against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Let's go up to the Greensboro Coliseum in North Carolina to see the highlights. Take a look deep here in the second half. Isaiah Wong, the ACC Player of the Year, gives Miami a 17-point lead, and it's all smiles for the orange and green right now. Wong leading Miami with double figures in this game, but Wake Forest not done yet. Nice reversal around the perimeter. Tyree Appleby, the former Florida transfer, hits it contested here. He led the game with 24 points, folks, and he didn't seem to be cooling down anytime soon as the Demon Deacons continue to find their way back into this lead of Miami's. It was only 38 seconds left, but Wake Forest had a little bit more to answer with here. Under 10 to go here. Reversal around the perimeter. Cam Hildreth, the England native, wide open three, and it's a one-possession game, folks, and Miami needed a timeout. Wooga Poplar missed foul shot. Miami had to hold on for a 74-72 victory on a missed half-court heave shot from Wake Forest.
The ACC tournament is really like the NCAA tournament. It's survive and advance. We're very, very fortunate. We played an outstanding Wake Forest team. They made a great run at the end. We were up 17, and all of a sudden it's 7, then it's 5, and then it's 2, and they're shooting a 3 for the win. But that 3 misses, we win the game, we get to advance. So
and on Saturday, Miami men's basketball won its first ACC regular season championship in 10 years as it defeated the Pittsburgh Panthers by 2 points. The Hurricanes' final win at the Watsco Center this season also marked the 250th win at Miami for coach Jim Larinaga. And Miami fans stormed the court to celebrate the win. You could say the Watsco Center was the eye of a well-weathered season on the court. Derryl Barnes has the story.
It's the celebration fifth-year senior Jordan Miller waited his entire career for.
I've played a lot of years of college basketball. This is my first time finishing first in any conference. I mean, it's really just surreal.
On Saturday, students stormed the court after the Canes won the ACC regular season championship for just the second time ever. Miami dominated at home all season, going 16-1 and setting a new school record for most home wins.
But the team has said all season long they couldn't have done it without the help of crowds like this.
Just Category 5 this whole year has been phenomenal.
Category 5 is the name of Miami's student section. And last year they tried something new, rebranding the basketball student section, calling it the Eye.
Our goal at the start of the year was we've got to start doing things that, even if you don't love basketball, you're going to have fun when you're at this game.
And creating new fun traditions like setting off fire extinguishers and confetti cannons helped draw in record-setting student sections, giving Miami one of the best home court advantages in the country.
I had someone say to me, this environment is as good as there is in the ACC, and that says a whole lot about our fans.
And to Jordan, the chance to share the glory with fans means just as much as the win.
Being able to celebrate with our peers, dapping them up, they're screaming, yelling, and just sharing that excitement is just crazy.
Canes win the title for the year and memories that'll last forever. Derryl Barnes, UMTV.
Derryl, thank you. The 14th ranked Hurricanes will play in the conference tournament semifinals tomorrow against the Duke Blue Devils. And over on the volleyball court, playing for the Miami Hurricanes can serve up an experience of a lifetime for any student athlete. But I got to learn how one Hurricanes middle blocker took her college career to the next level last summer. For middle blocker Janice Leao, playing for the United States Collegiate National Team went from a dream to a reality last July. But this new adventure was also filled with uncertainty.
I was really nervous at first because I didn't know what to expect other than I'm gonna be with these top level girls, and just being around that level can be intimidating.
Last February, Leao joined volleyball players from 25 different schools to try out for Team USA, where she ultimately would be one of 38 selected to represent America. And Leao's week of training with the team allowed her to get attention and guidance from the nation's most experienced volleyball players and coaches.
Obviously, being there for the first time, I was very timid with asking questions and just and I was also by myself when I was doing the little workshops, and so I was just really just like taking everything in and like asking as many questions as I can.
And being around those voices forced her to improve as a leader before returning to the hardwood this fall, as Miami went back to the first round of the NCAA tournament.
This spring, she came in the first practice. She was like transitioning hard, wanting to get better, very connected to the things that she wants to do and take herself to the next level. It's just kind of this vision that transcends like her prior success.
Representing America gave Leao a new perspective and appreciation for the dedication needed to be at the top of her sport. And for Leao, her drive to make Miami a national championship contender will never fade.
Going back and looking back at my freshman self, I wouldn't be able to like see myself. I didn't imagine that I would be at this level. It just showed that I can be like a hardworking, like whatever I dedicate myself to, like I'm gonna go for it.
I think she's starting to realize how great her potential is, and the USA Trial like afforded her that, gave her a glimpse into that, and now I don't think there's anything that's gonna stop her.
In December, Leao will complete her master's degree in business management, but leading the Hurricanes to new heights is something she sees as unfinished business.
That was sports anchor Wyatt Kopelman reporting. It's time for a short break now, but up next, we will take you live to a celebration of Cuban culture right here on campus. Stay with us.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
The University of Miami's Skin to Skin Club hosted its first ever skin inclusivity event on Monday. Students got a chance to discuss racial injustice in the beauty, dermatology, and healthcare industries. The club, which is a new one to campus, collaborated with representatives from girls of other clubs such as Outreach and Diversity, Hairology, and Minority Women in Medicine. Panel members discussed the racial bias that exists in the world of beauty and medicine and recent steps our society has taken to be more inclusive.
I just have hope for this next generation that we're going to keep on kind of having these uncomfortable conversations and evolving, and we'll see a lot more inclusivity and diversity in our society.
Monday's event featured a table talk and a privilege walk meant to highlight the racial bias and lack of diversity in the beauty industry. The event concluded with attendees creating a collage featuring inclusive photos. It also featured phrases to spread the importance of accessibility for all in the beauty community.
This week, the University of Miami is celebrating Cuban Heritage Week. The opening ceremony started Monday at the Lakeside Patio and are continuing as we speak. For more, Ainsley Vetter joins us live from the Rathskeller. Ainsley, ¿qué está pasando?
Thanks, Cal. I'm here outside of the Rathskeller restaurant where the Federación de Estudiantes Cubanos, better known as the FEC, is holding their Cuban Week of Culture event. Tonight's event is the Domino Tournament, which is happening inside behind me right now. The event's kicked off on Monday with the opening ceremony, going into Tuesday's Cafecito on the Rock and Cafecito making experiences. And then while the Cafecito was heating up, so was the romance at yesterday's date raffle event. The FEC hopes that students are having a great time while also learning about Cuban culture.
I think for us is educating people that Cuba is more than just the music, the food, and everything in between. Now, the music and the food are how we bring people into all of our different events. And once we have you in, that's where we like to educate you, tell you a little bit about history, everything like that.
The week will close out tomorrow with a t-shirt giveaway at the Canes baseball game and the closing ceremonies. Reporting live for UMTV from the Rathskeller, I'm Ainsley Vetter.
Hey, Cal, I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
Un poco. Uni, you can call me.
Do you speak Spanish?
Un poquito.
Oh, he does. I know Spanglish. Is that enough to get me by?
I think so, especially in Miami. I took IB Spanish back in New York, so that helped me a little bit with some progression.
I took 4 years of it, and I still don't.
Everyone speaks Spanish. I love it. Like,
Spanglish,
the Uber drivers, like everyone. It's
oh
just
yeah,
so
well
fun.
you learn a lot from the Uber drivers. Well, that's all the time we have today for NewsVision. Thank you so much for tuning in.
We'll be on break next week, but be sure to join us again right here in 2 weeks. Until then, have a great night. Stay safe.